what happened in North Carolina. But also here in Minnesota, both the Muslim Somali community has seen a rise in hate crimes targeting Muslim homes and places of worship. CVE, this program premises on mutual trust between American Muslim community and the law enforcement. However, such mutual trust is difficult, if not impossible, given the FBI's practice regarding the use of informants and sting operations and deceptive conducting intelligence gathering under the disguise of community outreach. Given this history and the fact that it's unclear to what extent the FBI will take part in this program, and the community is serious, it's difficult for community to take seriously or trust this most recent initiative. Therefore, the community has been meeting, and therefore we offer these recommendations. Out of the first and most important is the Minnesota Muslim community has formed a new task force. This task force will address this issue. This committee is under development as we speak. It will serve as a united outreach effort to work with law enforcement agencies. It will include all segments of the Muslim community. Number two, all funds and resources towards social and educational services should come from appropriate resources such as foundations, corporations, the state, and local government. Also, the Department of Justice should issue guidelines similar to the Good Samaritan laws to protect those who act in good faith, to prevent violent extremism by engaging those who are considering it in order to dissuade them. DOJ policy should make clear that those who intervene to help others should not suffer for it by being subjected to persecution, watchlisting, or surveillance because of their association with a potential violent extremist. The U.S. Congress should hold hearings similar to the
about the Islam and the Muslims. We don't want other mosques to be seen or imams, agents or agencies of spying. So for that reason, we need to get any program coming from the government that similar to the CVE, we need to see that program in details as a Muslim imams to make sure that this protects the community that coming to the mosques, and they don't see mosques is a part of the agencies or so on. Last point, which is very important, we don't want the CVE program also go to different public agencies like public schools. We have concerned that, and we don't want our kids also worry about that they are targeted as a Muslim kids, or because of their names, or because of the veil, or because of their Muslim activity like MSA students. members of the MSA, when they heard these rumors or this information that the government might have a partnership with the public schools, they're worrying about their MSA activities, Muslim student activities, that they could be targeted, and that Muslim student activities is very helpful and segment of the part of the public school system to help minority students to serve them in different capacities. So finally, our initiative, having task force coming from community perspective, will be helpful for the security of the nation. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions and then we will ask questions.
How does this task force differ from all the other meetings that you've had with law enforcement over the years to build outreach and trust? And as you know, Andy Luger's office has been holding conversations with the community about these very things. Why do you need yet another task force for this?
I think it's important to recognize the community has been doing tremendous work to educate their youth about what's happening in Somalia and other conflicts, and that is the most effective way of working, where the community has responded to this issue. And we saw a huge decline, especially for the recruitment to Al-Shabaab. I think this task force is about the community having their voice be collective. And so the task force is not necessarily for the law enforcement. The task force is actually for the community. It will help the community deal with share best management practices and take on this from a more an organized manner. Yeah, Paul.
I have a series of questions. How much money does CARE contribute to youth programs throughout the Muslim community, and specifically to the Somali youth community?
CARE is a civil rights organization. Our focus is to empower American Muslims, including the Somalis, for them to understand. Right. We do not do youth programs. What we do is we offer youth an opportunity to learn about how our democracy works. So one of our programs that has been actually well attended by most Somali youth is our Youth Leadership Symposium. This program is a complete program where we educate them about how the government works and how they can be much more active in the civil world. But we're not a youth organization. That's not our mission.
I know you're not a youth organization. I want to understand what kinds of programs does CARE have that involve youth in the Muslim community?
That's an example of that.
Okay, that's the only one.
That's the one that we do. But we offer internships for our youth from college and even high school. They get an opportunity in our office to learn about the work that CARE does in civil rights.
I had a second question, if I can.
Yes.
You mentioned in your remarks that there was, you had knowledge that there was an FBI sting operation.
No, this is I'm not aware of any sting operations at this point. These are issues that have been raised collectively by the Muslim community as well as all civil rights organizations as being one of the issues that has not been addressed in our communities, and that creates the distrust that we're talking about.
And you mentioned something about the Scott.
Yes.
Well, could you elaborate on that?
Yes, so it's called Specialized Community Outreach Teams. This was designed to work with the Somali communities in about 6 cities. This is from 2007 to 2009. The documents are available in the Brennan Center, where you can get more details. But this program literally blurred the lines between outreach and surveillance. The outreach office were actually sharing information from their meetings to the investigative department. The Minneapolis FBI, they said that they did not actually practice this program. They actually refused. Unfortunately, we don't have any documents showing that they refused. We only have their word, but we do have documents saying that they were asked to do, and they were the first city targeted under this program.
But the Obama administration ordered it ended in 2010, isn't that right?
The program was not under Obama's administration.
Well, in 2010, it was ended, correct?
Yes.
So do you believe it was ended?
I don't know. You have to ask the FBI.
No, I'm asking you. Do you
I don't
believe
know.
that they ended the program?
According to the information that we have, that program ceased to end. But what took place after that, we don't know. Any other questions?
What
Yes.
your points on the call for a new DOJ policy that people who intervene on behalf of, and actually, I
Yeah.
don't quite follow that.
Yeah, so
What is an example of that?
what we're asking for is some sort of protection for those in the community who are actively working with our youth to, if they are those who might be considering those paths, that they have that ability to work and be free from some sort of being added to the watch list, surveillance. And so it's important for the community to feel safe when they hear of those individuals within the community who might be considering joining a terrorist organization, for example, to feel comfortable that they can work with them and try to engage them at an early on.
Have they ever been penalized?
We have seen cases across the nation where those people who might have even been part of another person, or they might have called them, or they sat next to them in the mosque, be questioned, be added to the watch list. So it's not just even, but it's also names as well. So,
Any local cases of that?
at this point, I don't have specifics, but our community has. This is a general fear with this.
And just in general, what do you make of the fact that while you are raising these concerns about the program, you have 7 Somali American community leaders in Washington participating in this summit saying these are the solutions that we believe can help, we think, at least build capacity in the Somali American community, if not thwart radical people from going overseas.
I think the community is united on what we have shared with you today. We don't believe that attending that summit is an endorsement of this program. But however, these concerns are concerns that we have met with a large percentage of the Muslim population in the Twin Cities and Somali community. So we look forward to this task force being that bridge between this program and other programs down the line, so that voices be much more centered across all of the views within the community.
Are you concerned at all? I mean, the fact that this is already happening and that there's momentum behind it.
I think this program affects our community. We should be the ones dictating how we work with the law enforcement.
Mr. Hussein, have you reached out to the foundations and philanthropies and state and local governments for funding requests? You don't want the DOJ money, but you want
I think
to be open to receiving money from.
I think
Let me finish. So, have you reached out yet for the money?
I think, Paul, you bring out an issue that this pilot program addresses, pretty much opens the door for, and that is in the Twin Cities, the minority community here, whether it's East Africans, the new arrivals, or others, face challenges in gaining access to resources that would help build a resilient community. So these programs are needed in the community. We're not saying these programs are needed in the community. They are needed in the community. This gap is something that needs to be addressed in a much more larger point.
I understand.
As here, we will bring, and in the task force, we will address that to the foundations and the corporates so that they can support these organizations. We're not there.
How much money do you think you need?
That's going to be determined by those conversations, but $5 billion is not going to be enough. It's going to have to be more.
5 million won't be enough.
There has to be substantial support for our community, the Somali community specifically. We have the worst achievement gap in the public schools. Most of our communities do not have the capacity to even apply for these grants. So there is a lot of work that has to be done that something as small as $5 million may not even scratch the surface. With that, I say again, thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate for all of you. Thank you.
Could I just get the spelling of the imam's name?
Yes.
Imam, my name is Hassan, Hassan. Last name Mohamud, Mohamud.
Thank you. Thank you.